best advice I've been given lately actually is to learn to listen and focus on listening rather than speaking. I say this both I think it's very important in the professional realm and also in the personal way. So for example, as a planner, when you deal with conflicts, when you deal with difficult situations for a project, for example, listening to the other part is very important because it gives you a lot of opportunities to build a cooperation in the team. And but I think listening is very important also when there is when you are kind of fighting something, because very often the other side can, with omissions or half-truths or errors, you are allowed to pick them up and obviously use them. It's a bit cynic, but in planning, sometimes you can do it with a cooperation. Sometimes it becomes a bit more a fight. So you need to be ready for that. My wife is a big source of inspiration for me because she is very committed to her job. She is very passionate about her job. And so, for example, we end up in the living room on Saturdays, each working on a different thing in his own specialism. But having that kind of energy and buzz around you every day is very important. And from a more general perspective, I'm inspired a lot by journalists, which I think do a fantastic job of research, information sharing, and sometimes they also the people who fight for the truth, which is a very important asset in today's world, I think. So I really respect that profession. I don't have a person in mind, but for example, I'm a big fan of Private Eye, which today celebrates its 1500th issue, because I think it's one of the best sources of information here. But I'm generally a big fan of people and journalists who try to go beyond fake news and beyond the first, the first level of truth given by media. I love books, so it's a bit of a difficult question, but for planning in particular, one of the best books I've ever read is The Invisible Cities from an Italian writer, Italo Calvino. It's basically the story of a journey across different imaginary cities, but although they are imaginary, I think that this book gives you a lot of insight on the mechanism of cities, of people who live in it, and the different aspects of urban life. And I think that is a very interesting book for any urban practitioner today, even if it's 35 years old, more or less. I hope they will forgive me for the wrong date. Yeah, but I think it's still a very relevant book for any person or professional working in the built environment. I think a map. I've always been a big fan of maps and geography, cartography. I think they're a very useful tool to gather ideas, to share ideas as well. And they also allow you to run a bit wild with fantasy on paper. And then fantasy can become reality with a bit more of work on it. But I think maps in general are a very good tool. So I'll probably start sketching maps and sketching plans about potential projects or ideas with the use of the map as a tool to convey those and build these ideas in something more tangible. At the moment, I'm very proud of the work we've been doing with FORMA, which is a professional network for architects, planners, real estate professionals, people who work in the built environment as a whole. We started 3 years ago. We organize networking events, we do cultural events, we have a very successful blog, and I'm very proud of the work we've been doing with Simona and Nike, who are the two other girls who helped me out with this. It started as a bunch of Italian professionals meeting in a pub, and then it escalated and is now not only for Italians at all, it's an international group. The key goal is to break boundaries between different professional, different disciplines, and trying to create a square, a piazza, where to meet, share ideas, and obviously do business. and it's growing, and hopefully it will grow even further. But to date, it's probably the nicest accomplishment I've been involved with in the UK. I try to iron my shirt daily in the morning. It's a very basic exercise, but it gives me time to think, to plan the day ahead. You're relaxed in the living room, and then it's like a Zen exercise in some way. And I find it very, very helpful and also relaxing, as I say. But I think in general, what I try to do every day is something which can be repeated the day after, such as this one. Sometimes you happen to do the same thing day after day, and it gives you a bit of direction. Could be the shirt, could be a book, could be a walk in a park. I think there are things that help you keeping the direction in the map. I live in Stoke Newington, North London, N16. It's a very nice area. I think the best features are parks, green spaces are very nice. There's a beautiful high street with cafes, restaurants, and the bonus is that you can be in central London with the bus in 30, 40, maximum 50 minutes, which I think is very good for the commute. And when you can sit on top of the bus and have a look around, again, I think it's a bonus of living there.